Hello everyone. I would like to wish each and every one of you a very happy new year. This is our editorial for the January issue, and we will be discussing about the Farmers Act 2020. Here we will discuss in details about the act in simple and lucid language, and we'll try to understand the uh, current scenario. So Farmers Act 2020, all you need to know. For millions of individuals worldwide, the year 2020 was a series of unforeseeable events. In India, we have seen a global pandemic, economic recessions, and political face-offs. It dominated the news spaces. But few, however, created a stir like the ongoing farmers' protest. The farmers are protesting against the new three farm laws and have rejected the concessions offered by the government and taken the maximalist stand that the demand must be met in toto. Now let us focus on the three farm laws to better analyze the cause and effect scenario. So first let us look into the three farm laws. First I will tell you this is the farm laws is basically a combination of three separate laws. The first one is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020. The second one is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. And the third one and the last one is the Essential Commodities Amendment Act of 2020. Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020. Now, when you look at these words, it is easy to understand that this bill has something to do with protecting the interest of the farmers through a legal agreement. Now, the question is protecting the farmers from what? Again, we need to look into the title of the bill. It says on price assurance and firm services. That means that if you're a farmer and I am a business owner and I want to buy your products, it could be dal, chawal, anything. For that, I needed to get into a legal agreement with you. And this legal agreement is for a farmer's interest so that a farmer is not cheated. Now the question arises that how can a farmer be cheated? A farmer can be cheated by a company in many ways. Suppose if I tell you that I need 1 ton of rice at so and so price, and later I will tell you that half of the rice is not of good quality. Hence I will change the pricing now. To change this kind of exploitation, this bill produce a dispute mechanism system. Okay. So for everything looks good. Now I need you to focus on the last word, that is the firm services. I mean, we understood price assurances and all. Now we like to understand what is firm services. The context of the word firm services suggests that the buyer can specifically tell the farmer what quality or grade is required, when to deliver the products, and there could be many more such demands. Here you can see like what to produce, when to deliver the products, many associated demands. Now this is what is known as contract farming. Thus, the agreement will outline the conditions for the production of farm products and for the delivery to the buyer's premises. Now, suppose the farmer then agrees to supply products based on the quality standards and delivery requirements of the purchasers and many other matters. In return, the buyer, which is usually a company, agrees to buy a product, often at a price that is agreed in advance. That is a mutually agreed remuneration. So we can say that the primary tone of the act is for contract farming, and the secondary goal of the act is to provide a nationwide legal framework to provide a better logistics and technologies, better transportation facilities, and this in return will attract private investments. Uh, Definitely they will it will attract private investments, and to be honest, it's a good idea in that sense, but However, if you look at the farmer side, they fear that a powerful investor would legally dominate the farmers, exploit the farmers with legal clauses. See, in today's world, everything comes with these terms and conditions which sometimes the educated people fails to understand. Thus, the corporate big shots can definitely exploit the farmers with the legal clauses. Now, this is the major problem of this act, which is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Firm Services Act 2020. The Firming Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. Now, let us understand this act. Now, if you look at the title, it says Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation. That means that it is talking about trading of farm goods outside the physical premises of mandis or APMC yards. The mandis are actually ruled by state government. Now, earlier what used to happen, there were limitations for farmers if they sell their products outside the mandis, as the products that have MSPs or minimum support prices must go through APMCs, as it will have government interventions. Now, this act will help barrier-free trade, and the state government will not impose any taxes on the sale of the produce outside the APMC premises. This will be helpful for big farmers, but not so in case of small farmers, as they are already selling their products outside the mandis. Now we will be discussing about the drawbacks of this act. To start off with, there are a lot of drawbacks in this particular act. The whole point of this act is that the government wants to get out of the agribusiness. Now, once the farmer gets entry into the market, they can sell this to anyone. It's a free market scenario and earn more. But the farmer's income will also be subjected to ups and downs of the market. Let us suppose that the demand of a particular object in the market is low due to low demand. Suppose due to low demand. But the prices would fall. But the cost of cultivation was high. Now, in this case, in this worst case scenario, what will happen? The farmers will get squeezed between the rising costs of cultivation and the low prices due to low demand. Now, as the government wants to get out of the agribusiness, they will not give any subsidy or help in that case. This point you have to consider. Now, without government interventions, the big corporates will buy products at less and sell at high. So what actually is happening, these farmers are again getting exploited by the corporate big shots because the government is not interfering in it, and the government basically wants to get out of the agribusiness. So this is a serious drawback of this act. Now we will look into the last act, that is the Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2020. To start off with, this one is not new. The central government has made amendments in the existing Essential Commodities Bill. But first, we have to learn what are essential commodities. What are basically essential commodities? Essential commodities are such things that suppose if you illegally store them for creating artificial demand or you black market them, it will affect the normal life of the people. Example, certain fruits, maybe it's medicines, oil seeds, etc. How it affects? Suppose if onions are stockpiled, it will automatically hike the price of the onions. You have witnessed this in early 2020 when the price of onion was at sky high. Okay, this was basically the onions were stockpiled and it created an artificial demand for onion and it automatically hiked the price. Now, what are the amendments government made? Government has removed certain commodities as essential, that includes cereals, pulses, potatoes, onions, edible oil seeds and oils. Government has categorically mentioned that it will only regulate supply and prices in cases of war, famine, high price rise, or natural calamities. Now we will be discussing about this one point, which is the high price rise. There are a few more conditions to it. Commodities are basically divided into two parts. For example, uh, items or commodities like cereals, pulses, edible oilseeds, they are categorized into non-perishable items. So what are these non-perishable items? Non-perishable items are those items that can be stored at room temperature for months or years as they have longer shell life. So the government is suggesting that it would bring it in the essential commodity list only if there is 50% rise in the retail price. For example, the cost of your favorite dal, let's suppose, is rupees 100 per kg. But if tomorrow, if it rises to 50%, okay, or more, like if the cost comes to 151 rupees per kg, only then the government will interfere, otherwise not. And in case of perishable items like potatoes and onions, uh, it will be incorporated into the essential commodities list if there is a price hike to 100%. Suppose 1 kg of onion cost rupees 50. Let's suppose it cost rupees 50 per kg for a kg of onion. Now, if the price tomorrow, if it increases to rupees 101 kg, 101 rupees 101 per kg, that is, if it increases to 100%, then only the government will interfere, otherwise it will not. So we will go through an analysis of this act. Now, in one hand, by removing these items, the government has taken a good step in boosting the farmers' income. But on the other hand, there will be price hike and risk of hoarding and black marketing, which may increase and that might lead to monopoly of few big corporates. Because let's say, for example, a trader or big corporate company like Reliance or Spencer, now now they can go deep into the villages and give the farmers the best price and then come back to the city and earn a profit somewhere between 50% to 100%, depending on whether it is perishable or non-perishable items. For example, if tomorrow the price of the dal hikes to rupees 101 per kg, as we were citing the previous example, only then the government will interfere to control its price as per the amendments of the act. Now, as a private company, I have the liberty to set the price of the dal anywhere between rupees 100 to rupees 150 per kg. Of course, I cannot sell it at the highest price. Okay, I cannot sell it at the highest price, or then I will lose out on customers. But then also, I'm assuming the farmers are smart and they will also increase their price likewise while selling it to these private players. If that is the case, then also these private players will sell it for higher prices to make the profit. So it doesn't matter. Actually, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it will pinch yours and mine pocket. That brings us to the end of this discussion. I hope you like the presentation. Thank you.